Very warm welcome to all at the age of technology in science and education. We have five different basic needs. First of all, we need to have our food, shelter, accommodation, medicines, and education. Amongst these five necessities, I should mention that the main thing is to develop the educational skill if you want to survive. For survival, you need to have appropriate education, and the technology or the softwares are helping us to develop these skills. All around the world, if you see the facilities we are getting, it's time to time improving a lot. Because of the advancements of technology, we can deliver the educational help to the students and to ourselves a very prominent way. As an educator of science, I am getting the best help from these technologies. Now, I want to discuss how the students are taking part for the advancement and using appropriately the technology that are offering by Microsoft.
In the 21st century, in the age of technology, we have discovered a lot of things. And on behalf of all the educational procedure and on behalf of the educational pattern, we would like to discuss some basic things that how the technology are influencing us on our daily life and how does you are getting help from these things. First of all, I would better like to introduce one of my colleague, and he is also an educator. So better to introduce him. He is Uttam Dominic Gomez, and he is also an educator, and he is also a preferred user of some specific technology. I'm mentioning this specifically because he is using some very good applications, and he is using very good dominance of some dominating languages. So now, what do you think, Uttam? Do we have any advantages of using these technologies in the age of 21st century?
Yes, we have lots of opportunity to be using technologies. As an educator, in my opinion, teaching is all about communication. I mean, how as an educator we are going to communicate with my students in my, in our educational institutes, in our institutional premises, or overseas, when I'm out, when we are at our home. If I like to, I can also communicate with our students through the technology like email, Facebook, Twitter, blog. So there's lots of opportunity to communicate with my students using the technology in this 21st century. So there is a huge prospect to develop ourselves as educator, to develop our students as learners.
I do agree. And now, a very open discussion with my two students. That is, I would like to introduce one of the.
When I even study, I use Microsoft products like Office and PowerPoint and everything. And when it comes to studying, I prefer digital books compared to the ones made of paper because they're easy to move and easy to transport. And I really enjoy the education through digital methods, and I prefer to use digitalization in education.
So you can see we as students we have to submit many assignments to the teachers. That is very important for us because our results depend on it. So to make our assignments presentable, we use different applications, we use PowerPoints, we use many Word applications to edit and present our assignments to the teachers.
It's about what about if we are delivering each and every lecture using PowerPoint or using some other apps for our lecture deliberation for the students? What do you think? It will be helpful for the students or not?
Yeah, definitely will be helpful, especially nowadays. In your beginning you said we are living in the 21st century. So now the days, as an educator, we are going to write on the board, write on the board. I mean, in a 40 minutes class time, we are 20 minutes spending to write on the board. These days is over because it is consuming my 50% of my class times. As an educator, if I keep writing and writing and writing, So nowadays, whenever we are using PowerPoint presentation, we can show very good diagrams, color diagrams, we can show simulations, animations, right? So the candidates will be more interested, students especially, they'll be more interested when something when you're explaining something with color, right? Various changes we can, especially as a chemistry teacher, I can say bonding. Right, we can represent the chemical bonding by shading different colors, how atoms are approaching towards each other, how they are combined. We can use such kind of simulations, or we can also use animations. It will be very helpful, and students will be more interested. Especially as an educator, you also know there are some students they're more or less not even. They are less interested to attend in the class, but whenever you explaining your lesson with some animation, with some colored graphic, with some chart, with some real life data, so I think they are obviously, I'm doing that, and I already found that they are more interested. So, and as an educator, it is also helpful for me, because I can utilize my class times as maximum. But I can maximum utilize my class time.